Hi everyone, it's Brittany. Welcome to our second video on how to stay healthy during the winter. So today we're going to be talking about hormesis. Now, hormesis is the name given to a process where the body becomes stronger in reaction to a stressor. So for example, with exercise, your heart rate increases, your sympathetic system kicks into gear, your muscles get stressed, and your body says, I didn't love that, so I'm going to be stronger so that I meet the stressor better tomorrow. And that's what we see over time, is that the body is better and better at meeting that stressor over time. Okay, you get stronger and stronger, right? Literally. So cold works the same way. Intense cold is dangerous. It will kill you. It's called hypothermia, right? But a mild encounter with cold will make the body say, oh, I didn't love that. I want to be better prepared for cold next time. And you see this with, the first time it gets to be a little bit chilly in the fall, like everyone's like, oh my God, it's so cold. But by the time it's spring and the same exact temperature comes around, everyone's like in shorts because they're like, oh my God, it's so warm, right? And it's because our body is adjusting to cold over and over and over. So how do we use this to our advantage? Now, what happens in exposure to cold? So I should say what's upregulated when we're exposed to cold is pretty amazing. So first off, it decreases inflammation. This is why we put cold on injuries, right? You reduce swelling, you reduce all of the inflammation in that area. So when you're getting a full body cold exposure, you really reduce inflammation all over, right? And you're improving circulation over time because your blood vessels are dilating in the heat and constricting in the cold. And this kind of action will help pump toxins and those kinds of things out of your tissues and back into the bloodstream to be excreted in the urine. Okay? So there's all that going on, which is pretty fascinating and amazing in and of itself. But we also get this thing called brown adipose tissue or brown fat. Now, when I was in high school, my biology teacher told me that adults don't have brown fat, that only babies do, and that we lose it as we get older and we never get it back. That's actually not true. We've now found that cold exposure, fasting, and ketosis, or the ketogenic diet, will all turn white fat, which is the fat we don't want, into brown fat. Now, brown fat is fascinating because brown fat will actually burn energy at rest. So you can sit at your desk and you will be burning more calories sitting at your desk because you have brown fat than you do when you have white fat. White fat is just sitting around waiting for you to run out of food one day and then it's there as storage. Brown fat keeps your body warm. And that's why it's created in response to cold exposure, right? And that's why babies have it, because it keeps them warm and when they're this tiny little fragile thing. Okay, so not only though does it burn calories at rest and keep you warm, but it also helps with blood sugar regulation, and people think it has a lot of other benefits. There's some evidence it might help with immune function, some evidence it might help with cardiovascular function, but really the main thing is blood glucose. So people are investigating it both for obesity and for type 2 diabetes. Now, I don't want to make this sound like if you have diabetes and you're overweight, if you go for a walk in the cold, you're going to lose all your weight and you're not going to have diabetes. We obviously know that's not true, but it's free during the winter, so we might as well take advantage of it. There is some evidence as well that cold exposure will help with your immune system. I find it a little bit more mixed. But traditionally, hydrotherapy, cold exposure has been used a lot for the immune system. So I've used it with patients, I've used it myself, and I do think it can help with the immune system. And that is also why you'll see a lot of traditions of sauna and a cold shower or jumping in a cold lake or whatever in the winter, and people talk about it being good for your immune system. And it's, with the heat exposure and then the cold, also what's happening is, like I said before, so you have the heat exposure and your blood vessels dilate, and then the cold and they constrict. And this pumping action can help remove anything lying around in the tissues and bring it back into the bloodstream to be excreted in urine. This is what happens when you have a sauna and then a cold exposure. Now we have the question of dose. So how much cold exposure do you have to get to have all of this brown fat? So unfortunately, a lot of the research in this area is rat studies, so it's not clear how to transfer the data to humans. So, if a rat was exposed to 50-degree water for 20 minutes, do we have to do the same? Like, I'm not really sure. However, I think, in my experience, I've done a lot of cold and hot showers with my patients, and I think we probably get some of the benefits of brown fat from a hot and cold shower, although it's a little bit hard to say exactly how much, because like I said, there's just not a lot of human data. So the way to do a hot and cold shower is to do a hot shower for 30 seconds to a minute and cold for about half that. So 30 seconds, 15 seconds, and then you get the benefit of the heat and the cold. Now with heat, as I said before, you get these dilations of the blood vessels, so they get nice and big, and then with cold they constrict. And what this does is it takes any of the stuff this pumping action will move anything that's in the tissues into the bloodstream to be excreted in urine if it's a waste product, which is really good, right? We want the waste products out. That's why they're a waste product. So this is also, it's the same idea as a sauna followed by a cold shower, or, jumping in a cold lake or whatever have you, which is really common in a lot of cold countries. But the hot cold shower is a way to do it without having a sauna at home. So, you want it as hot as you can stand, but also as cold as you can stand, but it doesn't have to be freezing and it doesn't have to burn you. Okay, remember with hormesis, the issue is dosing. We want the appropriate dose. So you want it to be mildly uncomfortable, but you don't want it to make you never ever want to take a cold shower again. Just mildly cold, okay? So that's hormesis and cold exposure. Let me know if anything wasn't clear. Let me know if you want me to cover anything else. And I might be able to address it in the video that's coming next time, or on my live session on the 14th of December. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to sign up for that session on the 14th, where we're going to go into this and a lot of other things in much more detail. There's a lot more detail than I can cover in a short video like this. So I hope you found this helpful, and until the next time, bye.